There's a hidden feature in the new KO2 update that I didn't talk about in my previous video, and this feature is perfect for all of you lo-fi lovers and sample hoarders because it allows you to import samples of different bit and sample rates, which means that not only can you add lo-fi grid to your sound, but also save a lot of space for the samples, which enables you to have up to, I think, 60 minutes of sample time in the KO2 instead of about 12 minutes. And that is a really good thing. So let's see how it's done.
You know who it is.
First off, you're going to need a program that allows you to convert the sample rate of your samples. In this case, I used the demo version of Audio Finder because this was really easy to use. It allowed me to batch convert whole folders of files and change their sample and bitrate. So I just selected the WAV files that I needed and then clicked on Process here and went down to convert bit depth and sample rate. In my case, I chose a sample rate of 11 kilohertz. The lower the kilohertz, the less space the sample will take up, and also the grittier the sample will be. So I converted all my samples to 11 kilohertz, clicked OK, and that's that. And then all you gotta do is use the EP sample tool and drag and drop these samples onto your KO2 and you're good to go. I've already done that. I got a few samples of which I took the original, so the hi-fi version, and my sample rate reduced lo-fi version, and we can compare them next to each other. This is the original version. And you can see in the sample tool, this sample is 167 kilobytes. And here's the lo-fi version of it. And you can immediately hear this nice, gritty sample rate reduced sound. Again. So you really get this old school sampler sound that you know from an SP12, for example. Of course, it's not exactly the same, but it gets you in the ballpark for sure. And on top of that, you can see that the lo-fi version of this sample doesn't even take up 40 kilobytes of space. So the lo-fi version takes up less than a quarter of the space of the normal sample. So not only do we get nice and gritty sound, but we also save a whole lot of space. I've also done the same thing for drums over here. My original drums are these. And here's the lo-fi version. In my opinion, it still sounds very nice. Yes, you lose some high frequency and some clarity, but sometimes this can be a cool thing if you're going for a more mellow, old school vibe. I think these kinds of lo-fi drums work really, really well. And in order to demonstrate this even better, I've created a loop in two versions. One version uses all the high fidelity samples, the other uses the lo-fi versions of these samples. As you can hear, these two versions sound very different, and the effects of using these lo-fi samples compound. So the more lo-fi samples I use in the track, the less sharp high frequencies I will have and the more mellow it will sound, but also the more clarity I will use. So maybe it can be good to also combine these lo-fi samples with hi-fi samples, and yeah, use them whenever it makes most sense using them. And if you are too lazy to convert your own samples, I have converted Dojo drums as well as Lost Woo into lo-fi versions as well. So if you get them from my shop, there will be lo-fi versions of these samples included that you can directly load onto your KO2 and get going. So if you want to check them out, you can find them on my Ko-fi page somewhere there. If you want to learn more about the KO2, check the playlist over there or contact me for private online lessons up there. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. See you in the next one. Until then, peace.